I'm Bob Gebbia, CEO of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and it's an honor for me to welcome you to the Out of the Darkness experience. Heartfelt thanks goes to all of you, our amazing friends and supporters, for participating in this event and for raising awareness and funds for suicide prevention. Now, clearly, much has changed since last year's Out of the Darkness community walk. It's a challenging time. And on behalf of all of us at AFSP, our thoughts are with you and your families during this pandemic. We hope you are staying safe and healthy. And I can assure you the pandemic has not deterred AFSP from its work. We've adapted our life-saving programs, delivering them virtually, wherever and whenever possible, including Talk Saves Lives, our most used public education program. From the start of the pandemic, AFSP has been a leading voice about caring for one's mental health, using traditional and social media to convey messages about self-care, that physical distancing doesn't mean social isolation, and about staying in treatment or seeking treatment through telemental health. Now, we continue to make progress across all areas of our work. Our investment in research has continued with 38 new studies funded since the start of the pandemic. We reached 1 million people during May Mental Health Month with our #RealConvo campaign. And in June, we launched new Seize the Awkward public service ads to empower teens and young adults to help a friend who is struggling. We held 38 state advocacy days since last fall, and the first ever virtual federal advocacy, where we had 1,400 participants from 50 states contact their members of Congress to support improved crisis services for people in emotional distress. And as an organization, we are speaking out about the inequities in access to mental health care, in particular for communities of color, and we continue to advocate for ending all health care disparities. Our interactive screening program continues to be used in schools and workplaces, giving people a safe and anonymous way to reach out for support. Since the start of the program, we've connected over 180,000 people to help they would not have otherwise sought. And when suicide does occur, AFSP is there to support the families and friends with programs and resources. This year alone, we will host more than 400 International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day events to offer comfort and support. None of this work would be possible without all of you and hundreds of thousands of others. We need you to be involved because our work is more critical than ever. Based on the latest CDC data, the suicide rate in the U.S. continues to trend up, and we are concerned that the isolation and grief and economic impact of the pandemic could contribute to further loss of life from suicide. But we believe an increase in suicide isn't inevitable, and with greater investment in mental health care and suicide prevention now, we can avert any increase and save many lives. Your participation in this event is lifting up those who struggle with thoughts of suicide, and you are remembering loved ones who we've lost, sons and daughters, siblings and parents, spouses, partners, and friends. The involvement of each of you is so critical to our mission of saving lives and bringing hope to those affected by suicide. Everything AFSP is doing is a direct result of your willingness to get involved. I hope you will stay involved. Because of you, we are able to fight for a day when no one will die by suicide. I look forward to seeing you all in person at an event sometime in the future. But until then, thank you and stay safe.
Music is a language of emotion. It moves to the soul with no boundaries or limitations. It brings us together and helps us find hope and healing in a world that we don't always understand. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is proud to introduce Mike Roberts and 5 O'Clock Charlie performing his song written for suicide prevention, Here Is My Soul.
Sometimes I think when I'm not sure what to say, over and over and over again, one the same old phrase, but something about it takes hold of my soul. Sometimes I pray when I'm not sure what to feel, when living and dying suddenly seems so real. But something about it feels cold in my soul. But don't feel bad for me, that ain't all I see. Some days life gets hard, but there's a fire in my heart, a shining light to see me through the dark. Sometimes I cry when I'm feeling all alone, over and over and over I try not to lose control. Yeah, and it burns a hole in my soul. Don't feel bad for me, that ain't all I see. Some days life gets hard, but there's a fire in my heart, a shining light to see me through the dark. Some days life gets hard, there's a fire in my heart, a shining light to see me through the dark. Shining light to see me through the dark. Don't feel bad for me.
Good afternoon. I am pleased that you could join us for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention Virtual 2020 Out of Darkness Walk. Today, we come together to educate ourselves and others, to share our experiences, and to virtually walk for those we have lost to suicide. An important step in prevention is increasing awareness, both our own and that of others. Growing awareness of signs of possible suicide and resources for intervention have led to positive change that has saved lives. During this time, we are all facing uncertainties due to the current challenges of the coronavirus. This pandemic has caused serious public health concerns, including emotional distress, anxiety, and unfortunately, suicide. Today is a walk of remembrance that unites a caring community of which you are an integral part. We hope that through your renewed effort after the virtual walk, you will feel a sense of accomplishment, knowing that you have engaged with others to honor and remember those who have died as a result of mental health conditions. Every year, thousands of individuals die by suicide, leaving behind friends and family to navigate the tragedy of loss. In many cases, these friends and families are left in the dark with feelings of shame and stigma that may prevent them from talking openly. But I want to address all of you that have been impacted by suicide and recognize your courage to persevere and be part of this healing event. The loss of a loved one is shocking and painful, and the grief that ensues can be intense, complex, and long-term. We want you to know that these feelings are normal and that the expression of grief works in an extremely individual and unique process. It is important to take things just one day at a time and know that each person will experience grief in their own way and at their own pace. This event is a safe place with those who understand, and we hope that you're able to find some time to rest your burden and share with those of us who need no explanation of what you are feeling. Your feelings are shared with those that stand together in your healing. During this time of healing, we encourage you to take care of your own well-being, which may mean help through therapy or the ear of a good friend. That is not a sign of weakness, but rather of courage and strength. Be kind to yourself, and when you feel ready, begin to move forward to enjoy life again, which is not a betrayal of your loved one, but rather a sign that you have begun to heal. Though you may experience unexpected waves of sadness, know that these are a normal part of the grieving process also. If you are helping someone who's recovering from a suicide loss, ask if there are any small daily things you can help with, such as meals, chores, or perhaps study homework together. Inviting someone to an activity, even if they repeatedly turn down the offer, lets them know that you care. And most importantly, continue to speak the names of those lost to suicide so that their lives are not to be identified only by their death. For those who have experienced suicidal thoughts or near experiences, it is important to know that there is healing and there is hope. One of the most important things to know is that people do survive the loss of a loved one, and even eventually go beyond surviving. They can experience happy, meaningful lives. During that journey, it's important to continue conversations with supportive people that understand and care. Knowing there is at least one person that can be turned to will make the road to recovery less daunting. We encourage everyone to have a circle of supportive and positive people and to share what you need to feel safe. Support groups can be a helpful source of guidance and understanding, as well as a support in the healing process. Some people may just need someone who will listen without judgment, or maybe someone who will come and be with them when they're feeling alone. Perhaps it would be helpful to have someone close to you who can go with you to appointments or have regular phone calls with. There may be situations, people, or strengths that help you get through the bad days. It can also be so powerful to connect with other survivors, and such a relief to be able to talk openly about suicide with people who really understand. For so many survivors, a crucial part of healing is the support and sense of connection they feel through sharing their grief with other survivors. The most common way this sharing occurs is through survivor support groups, where individuals can share their experiences and support each other. No matter what kind of assistance you need, do what feels right for you. For resources on suicide prevention, healing, and recovery, visit our website at mh.alabama.gov and look at our prevention pages, prevention offices page, or call them. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is open 24/7 and is free and confidential for people who call for support during distress. The Lifeline can be a great resource for everyone by providing prevention tools, crisis resources, and best practices for professionals. The Lifeline's website is www.suicidepreventionlifeline.org. That's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. And the phone number is 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-8255. A crisis worker can speak about all concerns and give ideas on how to help. Evaluations of crisis hotlines have shown that they can reduce the emotional distress and suicidal thinking in callers. If talking about suicide is difficult for individuals, they may want to use the Lifeline free online chat service with crisis counselors. The Alabama Department of Mental Health encourages everyone to learn more about how they can directly help someone in need. QPR, or Question, Persuade, Refer training, and mental health first aid are two educational first steps that can be taken. Information and resources are also available at AFSP.org/take, TAKE, -action/. In closing, I want to end on the hopeful note that suicide can be prevented, and our department is committed to do all that we can. Thank you again for your support and your courage as we work together to bring suicide prevention information and resources out of the darkness to save lives.
Through my role at UAB, I serve as the clinical director of the Depression and Suicide Center. The goals of the Depression and Suicide Center are several-fold. Number one, we have a clinical mission to serve patients dealing with depression and suicidality. Number two, we have a research mission where we are studying investigational new drugs and biologics to better help patients dealing with depression and suicidality. And third, but equally important, we have an educational and outreach mission to educate patients, healthcare providers, and the general public on depression and suicide as well as its treatment. I'm very blessed to have developed collaborations with the Alabama chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. AFSP and the UAB Depression and Suicide Center are collaborating on an outreach effort to educate rural family practitioners on how to better identify, manage, and treat patients dealing with depression and suicide. This outreach effort will improve care for patients throughout the state of Alabama and increase the confidence of family practitioners when it comes to managing depression. We are also doing a number of research projects at present in the Depression and Suicide Center. These research projects are looking at investigational compounds to better treat individuals suffering from depression. If you look at drugs that are currently on the market to treat depression, there is very limited efficacy for those drugs, and they take a long time to work. This is unfortunate because it leaves patients with depression poorly served and often not well treated. And so one of our major goals is to develop new medications to better treat individuals with depression. If you or someone you know is interested in one of these studies, you can contact our center at area code 205-934-2484. More importantly, if you or someone you know is dealing with depression or thoughts of suicide, contact your family practitioner, Certainly, you could call the National Suicide Talk Line, which is 1-800-273-TALK, T-A-L-K. There are also crisis centers within the community, and there's always the emergency room if someone is in crisis and dealing with suicidal thinking. So the first step, if someone is dealing with depression and suicidal thinking, is to reach out to a doctor or other healthcare provider, or contact the emergency numbers or the ER that I listed. So I hope that this has been helpful information for those of you that are out there. Don't hesitate to reach out to me for further information, or if I can be of assistance to you.
Losing someone to suicide or struggling with a mental illness can feel like no one understands what you're going through. Unlike other illnesses, it is difficult to look at someone and know their connection. The Out of the Darkness events are journeys of remembrance that unite a community, a time to acknowledge the ways in which suicide and mental illness have affected our lives and our loved ones. We all wear honor beads. They come in many colors, representing the diversity of our community's connections to this cause, and help us identifying others who understand our experience. Here are some of the extraordinary people who are a part of our community.
My name is Amber, and I wear orange beads to symbolize the loss of a sibling. 15 years ago, I lost my younger brother, Chad, to suicide. He loved to play musical instruments, and he was a great friend to others. I walk in the hope that no other family has to lose someone to suicide.
My name is Katrina Weathers, and I'm walking for my son, Justin Weathers. Justin passed on August 3rd, 2019. He was a bright kid. It was his senior year in high school. I walk to try to help other family not to walk the journey that I currently walk. I wear the white bead in honor of my son, Justin.
Hey, I'm Nicole, and I'm wearing the teal beads for my family members, my friends, and my clients as a mental health counselor that struggle with suicide. I do this walk every year to remind them that they're not alone and to help to fight suicide.
Hi, I'm Misha, and I wear the purple bead to honor the memory of my best friend Alex Conley, who died by suicide in May of 2013. I walk as a symbol of hope for those who struggle with mental health, to let them know that they are not alone and that there are people who love them.
Hi, my name is Thea, and I wear the white bead for my son Matthew and the red beads for my husband John. I also wear the blue beads to support the cause for this wonderful foundation and for all of those who have lost loved ones, and to show that there is hope.
My name is Ryan Sims, and I wear the gold bead for my mom. I lost her in 2009 to suicide. I work for all the kids who have lost a parent, and I want you to know you are not alone.
Today I wear a green and purple bead. The purple bead signifying that I lost my cousin to suicide, and the green for my personal struggle. I tried taking my life 3 times, and the first time when I was 9 years old. From being bullied, sexually abused, in toxic relationship, I held this on for a long time, battled with my mind. But finally, I reversed those negative thoughts and changed them to something positive. And I found the AFSP. It gives me life to help others. I love sharing my stories to let other people know that they're not alone. And together we can do this. So I love sharing my story to shine light for others, and that's why I walk.
The purple beads represent the loss of a relative or a friend. In 2016, I lost my best friend Noelle to suicide. Noelle was a kind and loving person, and she made friends everywhere she went. I'm here today in hopes that no one else has to ever know the pain of losing a friend or relative to suicide.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Connolly, and I wear the white beads that signify loss of a child. My daughter Alexandra died by suicide in May of 2013. They told me to talk about what she was or what she did, and she was so many things. She was a terrific daughter. She was a supportive sister. She was a wonderful friend. She was a terrific, just amazing painter. She was great at Scrabble. She was funny, she was smart, she was a big ball of red curly hair, she was a giant smile, she was everything. And now she's only one thing, she's missed. So I walk to try and help so that other parents won't have to miss their children.
I fought suicide for everyone to know that they can speak up and that we care. If you're struggling, let someone know. We are there for you. We can give you resources.
As a Marine Corps veteran, I wear silver beads to support first responders and military who have been lost to suicide. I wear beads to support the 22 veterans a day that we lose to suicide. I lost a fellow Marine in 2019 to suicide, and I personally have struggled since 2015 with overcoming those overwhelming thoughts. There is hope. You are not alone, and together we can come out of the darkness.
Those who touch our lives stay in our hearts forever. In lieu of the Remembrance Walk, an Out of the Darkness digital memory quilt was created to remember and honor those lost to suicide. The images on the quilt were submitted by statewide participants of our Out of the Darkness experience. From the words of an unknown author, they say there is a reason. They say that time will heal. But neither time nor reason will change the way I feel. For no one knows the heartache that lies behind my smile. No one knows how many times I have broken down and cried. I want to tell you something, so there won't be any doubt. You're so wonderful to think of, but so hard to be without.
As you release this butterfly in honor of me, know that I'm with you and will always be. Hold a hand, say a prayer, close your eyes and see me there. Although you may feel a bit torn apart, please know that I'll be forever in your heart. Now fly away, butterfly, as high as you can go. I'm right there with you, more than you know.
Sky whispering like heaven, dreams shouting from the past, chains fading into thought like wings on butterflies at last. Gold fables with red letters, true once upon a time. Found freedom in the waters, peace, freedom of my mind. Thoughts lost in the flowers.
International Survivors Day of Suicide Loss is an event where we get together, where we can connect, bring understanding, and hope through shared experience. Each year, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention holds this event throughout the world for large and small groups. While each event is unique, they all feature a AFSP-produced documentary which offers a message of growth, resilience, and connection. This year, the Alabama AFSP chapter will hold a statewide Survivors Day. If you would like to join us, it'll be November 21st, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Central Time. If you'd like to register, go to afsp.org/Alabama.
Hi, I'm Misha Emmett, Chair of the Alabama chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Thank you for joining us for the Alabama Out of the Darkness experience and for being a voice for suicide prevention. For 33 years, AFSP has led the fight against suicide. Although we are not able to gather today, your involvement sends a message. It sends a message that mental health is as real as physical health, and that asking for help is the strong thing to do. Our work is needed now more than ever, and like our work, the Out of the Darkness experience is not the result of one day. It's an ongoing effort to engage and connect with those who need us the most. We are a strong and resilient community, united in our effort to fight suicide, raise awareness, educate our communities, support those who have lost loved ones, and support those with lived experience. Together, we're creating a culture that is smart about mental health.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Hall, and I'm the Area Director for the Alabama chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Everyone has a role in preventing suicide, and by working together to improve the health and well-being of Alabamians, we are connecting people to resources and programs and removing barriers that stand in the way of people finding hope and healing. As we conclude our program, I want to thank our Out of the Darkness Experience chairs for their dedication to our mission and for helping to create today's program. I also want to thank our fundraisers, donors, sponsors, and you for your support. Together, we are saving lives and bringing hope to those affected by suicide. Lastly, I want to encourage you to take some time to focus on your mental and physical health by participating in a wellness activity for the next 30 minutes. Consider taking a brisk walk or a long bike ride, participating in a yoga class, writing down positive thoughts, drawing a tranquil scene, or cooking a special meal, whatever it is that brings you joy. Your mental health is important, and wherever you are, take this time for your self-care. Also, our fundraising efforts continue through December 31st. Please remember to take pictures on your wellness journey today and tag us on Facebook at AFSP Alabama and on Instagram and Twitter at AFSP_AL. Include your personal fundraising page and the hashtag Together to Fight Suicide.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Praise your name, praise your name. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear. Praise your name, praise your name. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing your praise. Praise your name, praise your name, praise your name.